Well, welcome to the pre-campout video for the Brazos Canoe Campout that's coming up in a few weeks for all of us. We are definitely looking forward to the campouts, and we wanted to just give you as much information to prepare you for our great experience in campout with dads and sons and dads and daughters. We want to just go over quickly what the theme is, and the theme for this campout is it's the journey, not the destination. And of course, our HATS mission is growing relationships, communication, and leadership through adventure with our dads. And with that, I will just briefly introduce myself. My name is Wes Monty, and this is my son Jake.
Jake Monty.
And then I am Dylan Kahn, and this is my dad, Josh Kahn.
I am Josh Kahn. And so the four of us, interesting that the four of us are the ones that are leading the Sons weekend. If you are a dad and daughter team, you will have leaders, you won't have us. Who you will have is you will have David and Lily Ringrose and Jim and Rain Bussing for Daughters 1 on September 14th and September 15th. And if you are fortunate enough to be on September 21, 22, you'll have Troy and Lexi Meany and Charles and Annika Triplet. Unbelievable leadership all the way across the board. You are in good hands with some phenomenal Brazos Canoe leaders in HATS.
Yeah. And if you're either on the first Sons weekend with us, or the last Daughters weekend, or the first Daughters weekend, the adventure starts now.
Now.
Let's get started.
Whenever you see this video, now. So that means like plan your menu. We do have some, because we are on a river, we can't bring like big heavy Dutch ovens and other stoves. So plan your menu, make sure to pack a bit lighter than usual. Also shop for supplies if there's anything specifics you need. We'll get to that later. And then think about your goals for the weekend. Like dads, think about what you want to accomplish with your son or daughter, and sons and daughters, think about how you want to grow your relationship with your dad. And so on this weekend, you have 48 hours of quality time with your dad or child. So the great thing about HATS is we have an entire weekend without distractions, and we have a lot of activities that really help grow that relationship. Like throughout all my time in HATS, I've really grown closer to know my dad. And the theme of this campout is the journey, not the destination. So it doesn't matter where we are at lunch or at dinner, but it's about how we get there and how we work with our dad or how we work with our son and daughter. So really just working together and getting where we're going is what matters. And again, with the HATS mission, growing relationships, communication, and leadership through adventure with our dads, these are what these campouts about, and you will really grow your communication on this campout a lot, trust me. And your relationship, it will be tested at times, but it really will grow in the end. And so some of our non-negotiables that we have is arguably the most important, the 18-inch ring. So that means while it's not physically 8 inches, we want to be within a close area with our dad or child, so we're really growing that relationship instead of spending time with another son or daughter or with dads with other dads. And then a few other things, no alcohol. HATS is all about growing relationships, and us as kids, we can't drink alcohol, only the dads can. So we can't grow a relationship with someone if we can't do something. And that's the same thing with no electronics. On the Brazos River, there's no coverage, but we still don't want any electronics because there's a massive distraction and they take us away from our dad or child. Also, no pets. I love dogs, I love cats, but no pets on the river. Again, they're a huge distraction, and good luck packing them in your canoe too. Another thing, no firearms. This goes back to one of our most important things about safety. Firearms are dangerous, even if you have them in really secured spot, you never know what could happen. So we really want to be safe, so please don't bring any firearms on this campout. And then leaving early. We have two things with leaving early. Leaving early planned is okay, but as long you have to tell your director, either tell us or the other directors on your specific campout. So planned is okay if you tell a director.
But it's also really tricky to leave planned early when you're on a river.
Yeah, especially on the Brazos.
You got to carry the canoe up to the road.
Yeah, we have to work through that. So if you have a reason where you're going to have to leave early, we really need to work through that with you in advance so that we can do that in a safe way that doesn't disrupt the mission for everybody else.
Yeah, please tell us as soon as you can. And then leaving early unplanned. Again, we're on a river and that's a bit harder, but if we wake up on Sunday morning and you're just gone, we will drop everything we do and we will try and find you. Even like if you get down the river and do somehow figure out how to get back to your car, we need to know that. So please don't leave unplanned, and please tell someone if you do.
Indeed. Okay, so I'm going to segue off of some of the things that Jake shared. I'm going to talk about safety and weather. So certainly the 18-inch rule is just an invaluable rule for us in hats, because we want to know, dads get themselves in trouble, sons get themselves in trouble. When we stick together, sons and dads as a team, we're able to look out for each other and care for one another. So the 18-inch rule is something that we do pay a bit more attention to on the Brazos, especially, when we're in the water cooling off, which we need to be doing, man. When we have a toe in the water in hats, we're wearing a PFD. It's just a safety mandate that we have. And we also wear closed-toed shoes in the water. So please know in advance that those are two things that we're going to be looking for. We don't want barefoot people in the river getting their feet caught on rocks, and we don't want anybody in the river without a PFD on. The biggest thing that we really work through, and man, as we're videoing this, I think it's like 107 outside today. Is that about right?
It was 108.
104 right now.
It is just unbelievable, and I don't suspect between now and when we go on our adventure, especially the boys, we're going here in a couple of weeks or 3 weeks, we won't likely be out of the dog days of summer. It's going to be hot. So hydration is paramount. Have at least a 5-gallon canister of water, or a way to safely filter water. If that's something that you want to do, we can help work through that with you. And definitely water bottles as well, because you can't just drink out of a 5-gallon bin. And then clothing, really important to have some kind of a wide brim hat or something protecting your neck. Sunscreen for sure, face sunscreen, lips, ears, all of those places. What I will tell you is there is no dad that has ever come home with a sunburned kid and successfully navigated that with the kid's mom, ever. Just don't be that guy. Make sure your kid comes home not sunburned, and you're going to have a happier experience. And it's also going to make your Sunday a heck of a lot easier if your kid's not sunburned Saturday night. Bring all your medicines. We're not car camping on this one. Once we leave our cars on Saturday morning, we won't be back to them until Sunday afternoon. So if you get EpiPens or inhalers or special medicines, really need you to bring those with us on the river. If it's something that you need us to help you to manage, we're happy to do it as your safety officers. Just keep us informed. And on to weather, it's going to be hot. We might have rain. I've been on the Brazos where it's rained before. Have you been on the Brazos when it's rained? It's usually pretty quick blow through this time of year. We don't normally get a lot of like pour downs kind of thing. Definitely want to bring like a frog tog jacket. We're in the water all day. You probably don't need frog tog pants. It's probably overkill to have them if you want to bring them, but it's just pretty tough to get them on, and it's kind of uncomfortable in the canoe. But you probably want to bring a rain jacket just in case we do get some weather. Don't know that we'll really have any cold weather, so we're going to be in a lot of swimsuits and shorts. But if you're one who's inclined to be cold at night, bring a sweatshirt with you. Have that handy. But weather's a big part of our adventure. We have a safety plan. That's one thing I want to be very clear about. When we're on the river, we don't have access to cell service. So we'll have Garmin Insight devices that are satellite linked that will be in communication with both weather and safety should we need it. Safety directors are monitoring the weather. And a new change for this camping season, when weather is an event, we'll actually have either Justin Wright or John Baldwin back here at HATS HQ watching weather, communicating with us over the Garmin Insight and feeding to us what it is, what do we need, and things that we need to know. So we are safety trumps the mission at HATS. We really got your back on this, and we have trained safety folks on our team that will not only help us navigate the weather, they'll have spare gear. Heaven forbid something happens to your gear. Don't count on us, but we will. And also, we'll be making sure that you make the adventure safe. We'll probably be the ones that are telling you, please be in the closed-toed shoes, wear your PFD in the water, get your sunscreen on. We'll be the moms for the weekend, I suspect. But it's just part of the thing that we do about trumping the mission, that safety does come first. So that's what I have about safety. Did I miss anything on that, guys?
I covered it real well.
Okay, good.
I would just say I've gone down the river. I think this will be my 6th or 7th time, and I've seen a couple of dads not hydrate, not bring enough electrolytes, and be on the verge of having to be taken out. And so it really take this seriously. The sun, which obviously is the heat, dehydration can really create some big problems for us. So we just want to caution you in advance and be prepared and drink a lot, and we're going to be reminding you guys of that all weekend long. So.
And Charles Triplett's a fan of hydrating early. So this adventure starts Saturday morning. You're going to talk about schedule in a second, Dylan. But there's nothing wrong with hydrating on Friday. That's the plan. Get ahead of the hydration curve. So this is one where you really want to be hydrating well on Thursday, Friday before, so that when you get out there that you're not behind the hydration curve when you start.
Good point.
All right. So now we're going to talk about schedule. So we really need you guys to arrive at Rochelle's Canoe by 9 a.m. sharp on Saturday morning. For most of us, this is like a 2.5 hour drive. Some of us will go out and make a weekend out of the whole thing. Like Friday night, they'll stay in a hotel and then drive into Rochelle's on Saturday morning. So it's not quite as much of a hike. Like me and my dad will do that. We have a property out in Mineral Wells. We'll go stay out there and then we'll drive in the morning. And then we will circle up at 9:30 a.m. prompt, and we will have some safety instruction.
That hotel thing's not mandatory though.
No, that's not
If you
mandatory.
want to wake up early Saturday morning and drive on out, that there are a lot of people that do that too.
Yeah. So we will circle up at 9:30 a.m. prompt. We'll have some safety instructions, and we will load gear onto the canoes, both your personal gear, and then we will have some crew gear that we will have to distribute around the canoes so that we can get that down the river. We will be on the river at around 11 a.m. for morning paddling, and then we will have lunch and games on the river, and arrive to the sandbar camp from around 4 to 5 p.m. to set up. Then we will have more games on the sandbar. We'll have dinner together around the Hat's fire, and then we will do the various evening activities that we have in store for you, and then we'll go to bed. Sunday morning we will wake up, have a team breakfast, games, mirror questions, and then pack up and get back on the river to go to pick up. And then we will paddle out and be off the river at 2 p.m. to drive home. And then you get to get to Rochelle's, right? So I recommend right after this video that you put Rochelle's into your map so that you can kind of just see what the drive will be like for you. It's going to be very different traffic-wise, so the numbers will probably be a bit different, since you're going to be driving pretty early in the morning. But for most of us, we'll be heading west of Fort Worth and Weatherford to get to Mineral Wells, and then we will take Highway 180 west of Mineral Wells to FM4, and then head north for around 7 miles to get to the Brazos River Bridge. Rochelle's is just north of the river on the right side of the bridge. And then when you enter Rochelle's, take the private road down to the river, and we will meet on the bank of the river just below the FM4 bridge.
Great, thanks,
So I'll
Dylan.
hand it off to Jake, or
Super.
Wes.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about gear. We do know that the river is running low compared to prior years, so it's even more important that less is more. Because the last thing you want to do is load your canoe up with too much gear and have to drag it any more over those rocks in the low areas of the river. So less is more. If you have items like backpackers tents or smaller tents, bring the smaller as opposed to the larger types of things, and the lighter versus the heavier types of things. What's also important is to bring 5 to 6 gallons of water and electrolytes per team. We're going to bring a water filter so that we have just an extra backup if need be, but make sure you bring the 5 to 6 gallons per team, and that should be good for the weekend. Also, bring water bottles so you can easily access the water or the Gatorades and things like that. And then also what's important is to bring an 8-foot piece of climbing rope, or any type of rope that you can tie onto the front of your canoe, considered a paint line, a painter line, so that you can pull that canoe while someone is in the back pushing that canoe. And that may sound like a lot of work, but when I did this trip the first time with my older son, we had a blast. Getting out of the canoe, pushing, just looking at the beautiful area. It's just an amazing trip.
Well, Wes, when you say though, for anybody who's been down this river more than once, every single time you go, don't you think you bring a little less gear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a little less weight, a little less
And we
gear.
catch fish instead of bringing. No, just kidding.
No, not so. But you pack a little more
Yeah.
efficiently with a
Of
little bit
course.
lighter, because then you're gliding over things as opposed to
right.
having to get out.
Absolutely, absolutely. The next item we want to just share with you as a piece of advice is that the regular stakes for your tent don't go into the sand, and they don't secure your tent well at all. So we have some PVC pipe to show you that a lot of Hat's dads have taken with them, and they go into the sand really, really well. Just cut it at a 45-degree angle, as you can maybe see in the video, and that goes right down deep. It's about a 2-foot piece of PVC pipe per stake area. But that works really well. I've used these metal stakes that I just bought. They're just like a nail with a washer. Those work really well too. So the regular stakes won't hold the tent. If there's wind, you'll want something like this to help secure the tent. Next thing, on a fun note, we love water fights, and Jake and I love to have a challenge. Anyone that's willing to challenge us on the Suns Campout, bring it on, man. We love to do water fights.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, well then, look out.
And while you can get a lot with paddles, water guns, guys.
That's right.
Bring water guns. They're so fun. And you will get wet. It's a water camp out. So you will get wet. Have fun. Bring water guns. Soak your friends.
One great secondary use for a water gun, I know Charles Triplett teaches this, you can use your water gun to suck water out of the bottom of your canoe.
Oh, yeah.
Especially water
Yeah.
that's entered your canoe from other people's water guns.
Yeah, you can bail water out of your
Yeah, that is an important.
Yeah.
No, it is a lot of fun. So bring some water toys and water guns. If you want to bring a crazy creek or a soft cushion, a lot of dads bring these. It makes the day a whole lot more enjoyable. Those aluminum seats get kind of uncomfortable, and your back starts to feel the strain by the middle of the afternoon. Some folks bring paddle gloves, so if that's important for you and you've got some, bring those. And then PFDs will be provided for each member of the team by Rochelle's, but if you have one that you prefer, that you've got at home, feel free to bring those. We do require that they be Coast Guard approved. Next item, just make sure you remember to bring your 8 pounds of self-lighting charcoal. Wrap it up in a bag so that it doesn't get wet. Self-lighting charcoal probably doesn't light as well if it's soaking wet, so make sure you do that. And then if you want to bring a small camp stove, we always bring a jet boil for hot water, for coffee for me, or hot chocolate for a son or a daughter. That's something you're welcome to bring. Of course, we will be using the charcoal for grilling out that night. There will be no fire. No wood fires, but we will do the charcoal for grilling out. And then also, next item, it's really important, obviously bring swimsuit, sun shirt, plenty of sunscreen, super important to bring a lot of sunscreen. And then sometimes it has in the evenings with me gotten cool at night with the wind. And so you might want to bring a long sleeve shirt or some long pants just to keep warm that evening. And then next item, it was really important, heavy trash bags are an absolute must. And I would say for sleeping bags, for clothing, double bag if you're going to use just like trash bags. This dry bag that Josh is displaying is really good, right? For more important things you don't want to get wet. Cameras, obviously put in bags like this, or Ziploc bags, anything to keep that water out is important. And then finally, we will help you pack your canoes on site. It can be a little bit tricky, but there's another video link that's being sent out with this video link that will walk you through everything that will help you get your canoe ready to go down the river. We'll be on site, answer questions, do anything we can to help you guys get those packed. It's really important that we secure everything. So ropes and bungee cords and other straps to keep everything in the canoe. In the unlikely event that you go over into the water with your canoe, will make a big difference. Keep all your gear with you. And I believe that's it. Did we miss anything else you guys would add?
No, the only thing, one time we went down that worked pretty well for us, we just had one of those black Home Depot boxes with the yellow lid. Most of our stuff was in it in dry bags.
Yeah.
And we were able to lash into the canoe pretty well, and it was a good stable central
That's a
thing in the middle
great
of the canoe.
suggestion.
So it's just something you might do. I've seen people that look like Sanford and Son going down the river with stuff hanging out of the canoe everywhere, and they have a great time too. So don't feel like you've got to do it perfect. It's just there's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah. So now we get to talk about food.
Heck yeah.
Best subject. So, if you're driving out Saturday morning, breakfast is completely on your own. You can have something like at the house that morning, you can get something on the way. If you're driving out on Friday, same thing. If you're staying in like Mineral Wells or Palo Pinto, get some breakfast there. And then Saturday lunch will be on the river. So in general, for food, you want to pack a bit lighter. So like for Saturday lunch, like what me and my dad have done in the past, we bring like chips, sandwiches, stuff that's small but does give you a lot of good calories and a lot of good energy for the rest of the day. And bring lots of snacks for the river. Like chips, beef jerky, anything. And while you might not think this, salty snacks are also really good, because while water and like maybe Gatorade, they do give you electrolytes, salty snacks give you a lot more electrolytes, which will make your day on the river much more better. And then for dinner, we will have an area set up for charcoal grills, like my dad mentioned. And so you can really bring anything you want that you can like fit in your Cadino. But pack a bit lighter. Don't bring like big Dutch ovens or big like Coleman stoves. We will have grates and charcoal for you if you want to do like meat or hot dogs, anything like that. Backpacking meals also work really well. We've seen a few people do that. They're light and all you need to do is add some water. And if you are cooking on those grills, make sure you bring any utensils necessary. And then for Sunday breakfast, we do want this to be a bit lighter since we do have activities and obviously getting down the river that day. So like bagels, muffins, eggs, anything like smaller and easy to cook is really helpful. Again, like backpacking breakfasts are really good. And then Sunday lunch after we get off the river is completely on your own. So did I miss anything? Thank you.
Well, so the only thing we added before, I know that we'll do this is the boys. So on Saturday night, if every team wants to cook on charcoal grates, we're going to make sure we have enough grates for everyone. But we're going to take a quick kind of straw poll Saturday morning before we push off, and we're going to bring down the number of grates that we need to cook for the people that are cooking over charcoal, and quite frankly, the amount of charcoal we need. So we may just throw some charcoal bags back in cars rather than hauling a bunch of stuff down the river just to haul back out on Sunday. So if everybody wants to cook on grates, we're bringing tons of grates. If 5 teams are cooking on grates, we're going to bring enough grates for 5 teams. I love everybody cooking around on the grates. I think it's super cool. I think it's something that I just love about hats. Makes Saturday night tons of fun, and I really enjoy it when you bring extra. You'll get extra points if you bring extra for me. But very, very cool to do that, but we definitely want to right size what we're bringing down the river for what we're using and not bring down the river things that are just unnecessary.
Well, listen, we'll wrap up with that. We hope we've covered everything in enough detail to get you moving and get everything together for this this adventure that's coming up. But if we haven't, feel free to reach out to any of the directors that'll be leading you down the river. And just on a note to close, we love adventure. I know all 4 of us here and everyone that you'll be camping with loves adventure. And we look forward to leading this adventure with you guys. And from that standpoint, drive safe.
And if you have any questions at all, just email your director team.
Any
just
questions.
reply back on the link that you receive with this email, and we're happy to help. Quite frankly, man, if you want to go to REI and do some shopping, just give me a call. I'll go with you. So anything that you feel like you need from us, we've all been down the river a bunch of times, and we're happy to help. Just email and ask any question.
With that, safe travels, and we look forward to the adventure with y'all.
Let's do it.
Yeah.